Well, welcome to the discussion that's going to take place. My name's Roger Clough, and I've been working with Age UK Lancashire in terms of some research where we're looking at ways in which older people can find things that they want to do that are purposeful, that are things that they enjoy doing. And we've been working to try and understand what those things are. And one of the things has been about access to arts and enjoying theatre and feeling cut off sometimes, or feeling that you don't want to go out because you're on your own. And from discussions with staff in the Dukes, we've got to the possibility of some very exciting developments, I think, whereby Age UK Lancashire and the Dukes are going to try and develop some different themes of access to the arts. The Dukes does amazing work at the moment in terms of community work with young people and trying to extend that to community work with older people, in fact. So this is the first event that's taking place. It was a show that was going to take place anyway, and we just thought it would be useful to have a discussion because of the theme about relationships and old age. And what we want to try and do is have a discussion about how people view ageing. That was the idea of the theme. We've got an audience which is spread, so that's quite helpful in terms of looking at life and looking at ages. So we wanted to try and think about that, and it's really just a sort of starter in terms of something that is going to be, we hope, future events. If I could introduce Geraldine Moore. Geraldine is the Chief Officer of Age UK Lancashire. So if I could just start by raising some different points about how people look at their lives. And one of the interesting things about the show, I think, is about a sort of young life and old life and the way in which people look forwards and back. I remember when my father died a couple of years ago. He'd been living in a residential home for some years, and when I used to visit him and I came away, and I would wonder about how he looked at his life. What did he sort of think about each day? Was it different from the way I thought about coming to a day? And since then I've been trying to focus on how it is that people perceive ageing. Do you think about your lives as something like a journey? And if so, where are you journeying to and where are you? If you're older, like some of us are moving into, do you think of this stage of your life as a last lap? There's some young people from primary school in the choir who've been writing about how it must be some sort of response to the Olympics. And one person there has written about life as a race, and she's going for gold. Well, is that what we're doing with our lives? Are we going for gold? I remember my mother, one of her favourite poems was it was a poem of Christina Rossetti. Does the road wind uphill all the way? Yes, to the very end. Will the day's journey take the whole long day, from morn to night, my friend? And I think she thought of life as a continual walk up a long road, which a lot of it would be a struggle. I think there's other people who think that you are on a climb and you get to the top of a hill and then you gradually walk or fall or decline down the other side. So I think there's very different ways in which people perceive it. And I was struck really tonight with thinking about dance, because when I've been doing some thinking and some writing about the way people perceive lives, I was thinking about, you'll know the Sidney Carter hymn, Lord of the Dance, and that draws on an old English carol, Tomorrow Shall Be My Dancing Day, in which Jesus describes his life. Tomorrow shall be my dancing day, I would my true love did so chance to see the legend of my play, to call my true love to my dance. And that just seemed really appropriate to you. And I was really struck in the play with how supple this young man is on my left. Because my right hand will know that I haven't got the dancing skills, but I can't get down like he does. So what I was wondering, I just wanted to ask Geraldine some questions really, and have a bit of a conversation, and then open it up for discussions about how any of you see your life, your future self, your past self. Does any of it about how you think about your life and the future as you move into old age, or if you think about your parents in old age, Does any of this about life as a journey, or life as a last lap, or life as a decline, what does it, do you have any view at all of what old age is like?
I think it's different for everybody, and I think different stages open up possibilities. So as I think about retiring, I think there's huge possibilities, and there's time to do the things that I'd like to do rather than the things that I have to do. Yet when I talk to my parents, and my dad's 90 and my mum's 87, it's a struggle. For them, you know, older age is not as positive as it was when they were, say, 77 and 70. So it can be a struggle, and it's different things on different days with different people. I like to think of it as a journey with a positive ending, but at the end of the day, life is finite, and we are all going to end it, and it's how we get there and those different things that we can do as we go along that journey. So for my mum and dad today, having a walk outside was an achievement, and I think it's about accepting and thinking about the positive things one can do. For me, I like to spend more time with my grandchildren, and they, you know, keep me young. So it's very difficult, because we tend to say older people, and older people, we work with everyone over the age of 50. Well, 50 to 110, there's huge, huge differences. So we lump everybody together, and we shouldn't do that. So it's all about individual aspirations, individual wants and needs.
I'm just very aware, I was given an instruction at the beginning that we are doing a video of this, and I'm supposed to have said if anybody didn't want to be in the video, could they tell us?
I don't want to be in the video.
Is there anybody who wants to make sure they're not filmed? Because we'll make sure it's cut in some way if that's the case. I'm sorry that you announced that at the beginning. You're very generous, thank you. Do you have any sense, if you say you're on a journey, do you have any sense of where you're going? Because I think, I'm not quite sure where it is. My father had a very strong religious belief, and I'm not sure whether I do or not any longer. And I'm not sure where it is that I'm going on this walk.
No, I really have no idea where I'm going. No idea. But it's good that I'm going somewhere. So I think life is all about achievements and acceptance of different stages, and doing what one can, really.
It does depend on your health.
I think if you have a particular episode that's not good, it can knock you. And the people that we've had our annual general meeting today, and we did a little DVD of what people have said about growing older. And the thing that struck me is that people's confidence can get so easily knocked. And then it can be very hard to build that confidence up to do the things that we probably all take for granted, going out, you know, making friends, talking to people. So it can be a challenge if you have a particular health issue or you lose somebody you care about.
You want to come in?
Yes, I would like to ask two new performers, and how did they come to dance? And in this particular moment of their lives?
Well, I was a PE teacher in my career, so I covered dance. I taught dance, I taught gym, I taught plays, I taught athletics, you know, all the things that go into PE. I didn't do a lot after I stopped. I stopped teaching in 1984. I didn't retire, I wasn't old enough. But after my husband died, I was able to then join the over 50s dance, and I've always loved what I call creative dance. And when this idea came up, like the performance of Agnes and Walter, I entered the workshop audition. And I have to say that although I was not depressed, not run down, not down in the mouth at all before I got the part, I was going to the gym, I played tennis, I go to the dance classes. I was in a routine, I've got sons and a daughter, I'm having a lovely time, but since I've been in the dance, in this, I've gone up, and I am 80 now, So I'm ever so lucky to be able to do it all.
Can I just compliment you on your balance?
Yeah.
And the dance that struck me was when you were on tiptoe. And that's brilliant.
Well, I never
I've
stopped
never-
doing
yeah,
things.
I've never had a sense of good balance. So perhaps it's not just aging. You know, it's sometimes I think people say, oh, it's because you're old. But it's not really. It's to do with the lifelong abilities.
Does any of what I was saying about how you view a life and look at your past self or future self, or, does any of that ring bells with your performance of what's happening in Agnes and Walter? You've got this moment when he's going off the roof and you're there, you're on your own. It's very stark.
Well, I have lost my husband 6 years ago, and I think that may be tied up with some of the things I do in dance. Although it's
When you follow after he's gone off the roof and you're doing these...
well, that's what I call it, my yearning dance.
Right, that's
But
interesting.
I'm asking someone,
in?
I'm trying to get someone I can see to come and join my space.
Right.
And they don't come.
And there's that moment where you're then back to the audience and you're
Oh, well, that's
all alone.
a trick, isn't it? That's meant to be
Yeah.
someone giving me a hug. I thought it seemed appropriate.
Yeah.
Ronnie, you never performed professionally before this? This is your first
There was
performance
a little show that we done. You
Yeah.
know, it was in public in a pub.
Is it a surprise to you that you've is it a surprise that you've ended up performing in a show professionally, or was there a little bit of you that thought I'll do this?
I always just dance on my own, you know, just in passes, and so it's sort of natural for me to just dance. And then I've done 10 weeks of contemporary dancing. And creative dance, what we do, and it interests me.
To the younger Agnes and Walter, do you have a sort of picture of how you look at life and... Oh, it's there.
A picture of how we look at life.
Well, I don't know if you heard the earlier bit, but I was talking about how people perceive is life or if you're looking at your future self and your... I didn't know what...
I sort of feel like I'm in the dark, kind of groping for things, and then I'll find something, and that feels right, so I follow that bit, and then oh that feels right. So less of a clear narrative at the beginning, middle, and the end, and more of a series of moments of clarity and moments of confusion. Yeah.
Any response to how people view life, whether a journey, a mountain climb, a struggle, old age as decline, old age as something to revel in, or any perceptions from younger people about old age or from older people about...
I've got a philosophy of life, I could say, which is that you have got choices, and I think that the idea of karma comes into my idea somewhere. I would say I'm the opposite of thinking I'm looking for a gold medal. I think, I'd say that life is to do with choosing to find out more about why you're here. And you often make wrong choices and then you go back. It's been a kind of journey and all, but there's certainly, for me, a sense of finding out who I am and who I'm not, and accepting that, and enjoying the mystery and accepting that there is a lot of mystery in it all, not trying to know with my head everything. So I think there's an awful lot in our hearts that we don't know how to listen to, and I think part of my life has been learning to link up my head and my heart.
That's lovely. There's one, not exactly a theory of ageing, but there's one way of looking at ageing that says there's a stage, it's called, they call it gerotranscendence, but it's a shift from thinking about materialistic things to thinking about yourself and how you are and coming to terms, and I think it's exactly what you're saying.
Well, I tend to agree with that.
You agree? Yeah. That in old age you move towards these things, and it's a coming together of yourself is the way some people describe it. I think that's just what we've heard. I am more me, that's the idea of the...
I look back sometimes on my earlier life and realise I didn't have that much confidence, but since I've got older and been in this dance, I wouldn't have wanted to speak to people. I hate giving votes of thanks, but I don't think I mind now.
That's a word that came up a lot, yeah, but a lot today came up about people having confidence and people feeling able to take part, and that's a huge thing, isn't it? Because it's very, sometimes your confidence can be knocked, and it's how can we then enable people to have the confidence to do what you're doing, or to do whatever they want to do. And I think we're about trying to enable those people who find it difficult to take part, to accept where they are, and to just enjoy things. And you know, it is about enjoyment. And you enjoy things.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
And that's great.
And I've got 3 children, I enjoy them.
Yeah, I've only got
got
1
7
and I enjoy
grandchildren.
him. I've got 3, but anyway, it's not a competition. I'm trying, no, I've only got 3, but I enjoy them, but it is about enjoyment, isn't it? And so many of the people that we listened to today, it was about, some people don't enjoy growing older. It's not all good at times, is it? And it's how can we, by reaching out into communities and opening up new things, help people enjoy growing older and feel more confident and able to take part in things and make new friends. You must have made new friends by doing what you were doing, yeah?
Oh, yes.
You're travelling all over the country.
No.
Yeah. Away for days on end. I mean, that sounds good to me.
I'm directing the discussion towards sort of how people perceive ageing, but are there people who want to ask questions about the performance or other aspects of it?
I think I work in the arts, and I like to use the arts to make a difference in the world that we're in a small way that we can. And I'm in my early 40s, and so I think that life is a series of discoveries, and I work with many different people.
Is it what of discovery?
Series of discoveries. Yeah. And you have to embrace each one and be bold and strong. And I think it's really interesting. There's obviously many different types of people that make up this world. And in the work that I do, I work with some really lots of old people. And you also have people like Bonnie and Liz that are embracing their older age, finding new ways, and people that are through health or deteriorating mental state, suffering, but still embracing it with dignity. So I think from older people you learn a lot of wisdom, and I think as us as a community and a world, we can actually help change that by not being ageist, by not judging someone because they're slow or because they can't answer you straight away. Celebrating when people are fit and able to embrace life. That's what I hope to be like when I'm older, looking at you two, inspiring all the time. And coming together as a community and going back to sort of a way where we used to be, enjoying older people's wisdom and helping them. But for me, it's all about the day I stop learning is the day I should give up. That's my sort of life theory. And to approach everything with a bit of grace and a bit of humor. And that's how I got to get through it and embrace my old age. And what I love as well, I think, being this middle age, is actually watching the younger generation come up. So you can actually celebrate them. And it doesn't, already in your 40s, it's not about you anymore. It's about the younger generation. It's about your nieces and nephews and godchildren and your children. It's about those people coming through. How can you support them? And then also, how can you support the older generation to have a dignity with their old age? That's how I see it. Yeah.
Your comment about ageism rings a bell with me. Something that infuriates me.
Yeah.
If I read the local papers and they say something about old age pensioner so and so, and just that phrase, old age pensioner so and so, as though they're doddering old fools. And that really infuriates me. I've been an old age pensioner for about 7 years, and I don't feel like a doddering old fool yet. That really makes me...
Absolutely. I think our generation can change that view. My mother has dementia and she gets spoken to as she's stupid. She has dementia. My father is physically unwell with bad knees. Very clever man, but he has to go into a wheelchair and people speak to him and he's stupid. It's look beyond that, look to what the person is, explore and learn about them. Bonnie and Liz are in a great state of health and they're able to show us and change perceptions of people. I actually work with a company and I'm touring around the country. You see that young people are being inspired by what you can achieve as you get older. So I think actually organisations like yourselves should be trying to teach the younger generations not to forget to respect and have dignity to older people and actually change the perceptions of what it means to get older and help create a community feel to make a difference so that when people do get older and they're left on their own, they're not on their own and they're not institutionalised, but they're embraced by the community and supported because they will all have a much better older age. And I think that's how we can do it. And we try and do it a little bit through the arts and that's my
we try and enable people to contribute because there's so much people can give and contribute. As you say, so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much expertise, so much fun. And you know, it's about trying to embrace us, and it's projects like this that are reaching out into communities and celebrating growing older. I mean, I want to celebrate growing older, to be honest, for a few more years.
Probably time to draw this to a close, but we've had some sort of ideas, life as a dance, old age is a time when you start to understand and bring your life together and understand yourself in a different way. Did you want to comment, Julie, on the sort of future possibilities of work between AGK Lancashire and the Dukes?
Yeah, sorry, I'm Julie, I work with the Dukes, and just to say that we've been able to put on a small series of pilot events with Age UK with support from Joseph A. Jones and our solicitors, who are our sponsors for these events very kindly. And between us, we've come together to put on just a small pilot event. We're hoping to do a lot longer programme in the future, and we need to know what people would like to see. The series of events, Roger, you're going to be my glamorous assistant, wait the flyer, thank you. So this is a flyer. Today is just a starting point. I think it's the 12th of November. 12th of November. We're having a journey cafe, which means that the Duke's cafe bar will be turned into a welcoming space for older people, people with dementia, or those living with people with dementia. And it's so that there can be a more social event that people feel very comfortable going to. So there'll be information, but it's not just about that, it's about a social event. So if you know anyone that would benefit from that, please let them know. And in the middle of the afternoon there'll be a film screening of the Charlie Chaplin film. And we're going to make adjustments to the lighting and the sound and all those kind of things so that it feels an easier space to be in. So that's going to be happening, and and a couple of events in the spring that we're hoping to bring in, so watch out for those. So hopefully much more ahead.
There is a larger A4 sheet that, like the one that's just there. If anybody could fill that in, if there are things that you would like to be doing, whether it's workshops that older people would like to be involved in, drama workshops. We've got some inspirational work that's been going on here that we've seen tonight with older people involved in dance and theatre. But if there are ideas of what you would like to be seeing as part of this programme, then we'd love to know, or any reaction to tonight. But anyway, thank you very much for being here, and I really enjoyed the show. So thank you very much.